Hi, guys. So excited to be here with you. We are talking about recognizing your worth, the power of self, recognizing your value, the power of recognizing. I'm saying this all backwards. We're talking about self worth, and recognizing your value. I'm coming to you live from Texas as I'm visiting my family. Someone just put in the comment section, they're like, "What happened to France?" I'm going right back there, but I have family in America, so you got to see the family. So thank you guys for being here. Penguin, I so appreciate you. He says, "My inspirational coach." That means so much. Thank you for that. Nathan goes, "Here we go." Yeah, ooh, this to me, this topic is a game changer. Because when one recognizes their self worth, when they recognize their value, their entire life begins to change. The quality of people, the quality of money, the quality of life, the quality of relationships, friendships, you name it. Everything shifts when you understand just how damn valuable you are. It's a game changer. And the journey of that can be a bit of a challenge because when you up level, when you go to find out, what am I really made of? What is my value? That there will come challenges with that will really test, do you really believe in that? Or will you go back to your old ways of limited self beliefs, self worth being on the low end? Will you go back to underselling yourself to the world, undervaluing yourself to the world? And that becomes the real challenge. So, if you're new here, my name is Arica Angelo. I've been a dating and relationship expert for 14 years. And if you are new to my work, please go check out my website, aricaangelo.com. If you go to the main page, I have a free connection meditation that I'm offering you that is powerful. It is bringing people peace. It's inspiring them. It's helping them connect back to love, to connect back to themselves. So I highly encourage that you go and get that free meditation because it's muy importante. What's up, JJ? How are you? So, yeah, I'll keep the website up there at the top. So, when it comes to recognizing our self value, most of our value is built on what? On what we can do, on what we can produce, how much money we have in the bank, what people say about us, our level of education. Like all of these things are benchmarks. Penguin, thank you so much. You touched my heart. Thank you for that, Penguin. I really appreciate that. He just gave me a super chat gift. So thank you for that, Penguin. It's so kind of you. Hey, Blair, how are you? Hi, Robert, southeast corner of Iowa. Nice to have you here. Nathan, for sure, it works better if one doesn't listen, watch negative things before listening to the connection meditation. For sure. For sure. That's good advice, Nathan. Don't do that. Create a clear space. So we have all these benchmarks that we have been taught. That's where we derive our self-worth. That's where I derive my self-value. Here's a problem with that. When you base your value off of how much money you have in the bank, your level of education, what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you have, how hot is your chick, how hot is your man, um, how high you are in the corporate ladder, how many social media followers you have. Here's a problem with this methodology that we've been conditioned to derive our self-value from is it is shaky ground. Very, 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 very shaky ground. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes life can get, as Penguin just said, intense. Life can be intense sometimes, and life can come and just shake us to things just start falling off, right? When life shakes you and you derive your value and your worth off of very unstable things such as education, such as what car you drive, what kind of woman you have, all these things, these are all fleeting things that eventually leave, right? Or maybe the value doesn't stay true. Like, it's like I went to college to become what's something that we no longer use anymore. Help me out. Um, I went to college to learn how to make CDs. I'm just obviously no one has done that. Maybe they have. No one's using CDs anymore. Now we have digital music. And so, like, I know that's a silly example, but you get the concept. Hey, Antoine, glad to have you here. Um, Penguin says, you make life right again. If you only knew, this is so me in the past, intense. Useful and awesome says, no need to validate yourself. When we derive all of our value from all these things, hey, Aaron, glad to have you here. When we derive it, this is all like shaky ground. And so most of the time we're like, we don't know where to derive our value. We don't know where to derive our worth. And I'm going to share with you where. I'm going to share with you at the end of the video, like how you actually develop your own value, your sense of self-worth. But let me tell you why this is so important. It's so important because out of our value is what we attract life out of. So when you really value yourself, a person who values themselves, watch the things that they bring into their life. Like their life seems to go much better. They kind of have more of a dream life. They have things that, the rest of the world goes, we want that. We want that. And there are just those certain people that life gives them what they want. Then you have a whole different other person that life just like everything in their life just seems unjust. It doesn't seem right. You're like, why does that person keep getting the bad end of the stick? It's a very American expression. Why do they keep getting this? Why does life keep happening for them that way? And so Vincente says, I am determined to make you laugh, Erica. Felt I didn't last time. Here I go. Why did the golfer bring two pairs of pants in case he got a hole in one? That was good. That was good. That was good. So when we don't understand our value, it's like life almost mirrors how we feel about ourselves. And I know that's really difficult to hear. I know when I first started hearing this and understanding this, I didn't find that information helpful because at the time I wasn't feeling so good about myself. And so when I heard that, like, what's going on in your inside world essentially goes on in your outer world, I was like, okay, that sucks because my inner world is not great. It's heavy. It's frustrated. It's sad. Like that's not good news to me. What was good news was that I could change how I felt about myself. I could change how I saw myself, how I valued myself. Here's the thing. Some of us get very fortunate in life, which I have. I've been very fortunate to have people come into my life to mentor me, to either be therapists or coaches, to bring healing into my life, to inspire me. There comes a point where we all get that touch by someone else. If you're watching this, you're getting it from me right now. Where there may be people out in the world who have no idea who Arica Angelo is. So they don't know that they can come to this YouTube channel and there's this woman that talks live to them and inspires and loves on them. So for you, like see your mentality as like this is an opportunity, right? So life will give us opportunities that will go, hey, you keep seeing yourself this way, undervalued, not worthy, and you continue to produce that in your life because that's what you see. What you see is what you get. And so when you don't like that, life will give you an opportunity where it will bring people into your life that will speak the opposite of how you feel about yourself in a beautiful way, that they will speak greatness into your life. They will paint a bigger picture and a bigger vision for yourself than what you already have. And if you're smart, you will take a hold of that. You will take a hold of their vision and go, I may not feel it and I may not see it for myself, but I'm going to hold on to it because this person sees this for my life. But you see, most people do just the opposite. They hear something like you're loved, they hear someone speaking vision into their life, they hear someone speaking value into their life. And instead of claiming hold to that, instead of holding on to that, they just let it go right out the window. And it's like, you didn't know that in that moment, that was a seed being deposited in your life that would forever change your world. But you chose to discard it because at the moment you didn't believe it. And that is a huge mistake when we are trying to shift how we value ourselves and feeling worthy on the inside. When someone shows up into your life and they say that you are valuable, that you are lovable, that you are smart, that you have a tender heart, that you're capable, that you're adventurous, that you inspire them, in that moment, you need to recognize that that person is depositing a seed into your life, and that seed can transform your life into something that you were never prepared for, but it is transitioning you for that transformation for a better life, to change the landscape in which how you see yourself. I'll give you a perfect example. You want to hear a story? Wonderful. I'm going to share a story with you. Years ago, I had to be 2021. And there was a woman named, I call her Miss Brenda. And her daughter is now my best friend of like 17, 18, 20 years. She invited me out to a coffee. Now, pay attention because sometimes it's very subtle. It's very subtle when you can shift how you value yourself. You can shift how you see yourself, and it will change the trajectory of your life. She said this to me one time and I was like 20 or 21 years old. And at the time, I had a very low self esteem. Someone say low self esteem. Low self esteem. At the time, I had a very low self esteem. And so she took me out to coffee to a little country Texas restaurant. Pay attention because sometimes it's in the most uncertain places where your life is about to be changed. So we are in this like not very fancy restaurant. We're in this hole in the wall little country Texas restaurant. And she buys me a cup of black coffee, and we are having coffee. And she begins to pour out her heart onto me by saying what she saw in me, that she saw value in me. She said, Erica, I see you becoming a woman of greatness. She said, I see you becoming very wealthy and prosperous. She said, I see you having, at the time, she used the word servants because she was using it from a biblical standpoint, like the Proverbs 31 woman. She said, I see you having lots of servants. And she just said, I see your life being very blessed. I see you as the person that people are going to look up to. You guys, when she told me this is where you have to be careful. When she told me this, I thought she was crazy. I was like, oh my God, bless her heart. Like, that's what we say in Texas. Bless your heart. Bless her heart. That is so sweet of her to say those things to me, but she has no idea what she's talking about because on the inside, all these wonderful things, that is so sweet, but I don't believe, whoops, says my connection is unstable. And we're back. I don't believe any of this. And so but here's the thing. There was a desire on the inside of me that when she spoke those words, something in my heart got excited. Something in my heart said, oh my God, I want that. My mind was saying, this is too good to be true. But my heart was saying, I really want that. I want to become that person that she's describing. And so I took that seed and I just put it in my heart and I said, you know what? It sounds too good to be true, but maybe. I want you to say that, but maybe. So when someone comes into your life, someone like me, where you get on my channel and I'm telling you, you are loved, you have what it takes. There's no one on this planet like you. Instead of taking my words or someone else's words and just throwing them off to the wayside because in the present moment, you don't have the capacity to receive it. Instead, say this word, maybe. maybe they're right. Because what that does is it positions your heart to be open towards hope. And that's all we need. Like, if we can just maintain a level of hope, it can change our lives, completely change our lives. So I said in the back of my mind, maybe she's right. Maybe she's right. And I'll never forget, I was in Los Angeles in my home at the time. And at that moment, I looked around and there was a lady cleaning the house, and there was a man uh, cleaning the pool, and then there was a gardener doing the lawn, and then there were some men redoing the pool table in the home. And I was like, oh my God, there are people working all over this house, and they're all doing what I'm asking them to do. And I said, what she said to me all those years ago. And then I had which I still have, my YouTube channel, coaching people all over the world were knowing who I was through YouTube. All these opportunities were coming to me, and what she said came to pass. And so I'm saying, when you go through a time in your life where you are not feeling valuable about yourself, you're not feeling worthy, you feel low, you feel like the lower end of the total pole. When you feel that way and someone comes into your life, like myself or a stranger, and they begin to speak life into you, they begin to speak value, they begin to see you through eyes of hope, they begin to see a vision for your life. Do not disregard that and do not take that as something too little, but to say, perhaps, maybe they're right. And what you do is you position yourself for hope. Here's the beauty of this is that when you start feeling that hope on the inside, you start getting excited and you think, well, man, if I could become this kind of person, if I am that person that people say that I am, what else could I be? And this becomes the journey of exposure to value, where you become exposed to more value on the inside of you than what you have ever realized. And so from there, what I did was I started looking up to different people and saying, like, I really admire that woman. Wow, I really admire that man. And just looked at people who I thought, that's who I want to become. That's where I want to go. That's where I wanted to be. And I began to expose myself to people who I could tell really valued themselves. And so to value yourself is partnering with someone else's belief in you and positioning your heart to say maybe they're right. And as you go on that journey, your heart, your mind starts believing, hey, maybe I am of value. Now, remember at the beginning of the video, I told you guys that sometimes life can also challenge that. And I want to read Kiki on the Trail. That's a great name. I want to read your comment because that's really good. He says, life can throw you a curveball at any age. How you react and adapt will define you, not the naysayers and toxic people in your life. Yeah, those people always just go. It's like, I mean, we all have people who talk trash to us at some point in our lives, and then you get to where you're going, and you're like, I don't even remember their names. Like, who were those people? Like, they don't even matter anymore, you know? Um, but here's the thing, when you start growing in value, when you start respecting yourself, when you start seeing yourself as worthy, life will come and challenge you, and life will say, do you really believe that? And so this is how I see it. I see it as this. It's not life like some people say, oh, God's testing you and the universe is testing you. I don't like that. I don't know if I wholeheartedly prescribe to that, but this is what I do believe. I believe that the universe, I believe that God really wants us to be anchored in those belief systems. And so when the wind comes, when the challenges come to blow us, it's in those moments where the wind is blowing us. I'm talking to myself right now. I hope I don't make myself cry. I'm like, I'm really talking to myself. And this is so good. When life challenges us and it blows at us, it's in those moments that we become anchored. And sometimes we think that the wind is coming. Oof, this is like speaking to me. I must be like channeling right now. Sometimes we think that that wind is coming to us to uproot us, that it's going to knock us down. When we feel the challenges of life, it's like, this is going to knock me down. This is going to take away everything I've worked for. And it's like, no, that wind is there so that you take your feet and you dig into those roots and you anchor yourself in so that nothing can blow you down. So that when life comes and starts testing your value, when you stand up for yourself and you say, I will no longer allow toxic people to come into my life. Let's use that as an example. I'm no longer going to allow toxicity in my life. I'm not going to let toxic people come in my life. And then, sure enough, as you start valuing yourself and as you start closing that door, guess what? Toxic people show up and you think, oh my gosh, I've done something wrong. The same people are back in my life. The same situations are showing up again. Is this to destroy everything I've worked for? Look how far I've come. Is this to just blow me back? And the answer is no. That situation that is showing up in your life is to get you to dig your heels in the sand, to dig your toes in those roots and to go, I'm not letting go. This is going to anchor me. I'm going to become even more rooted in this. So this challenge that is here is not to knock me off my path, but it's to deepen me in my stance. It's to deepen my anchor. It's to make my anchor stronger than it's ever been so that I can know, pay attention, so that I can know my own value, so that when I get in the mirror, I know who I am and what I'm made of. And so when I look at a situation that in the past used to knock me out and that same situation shows up and I choose to anchor myself in my value, in my commitment to myself, in my determination that I'm not going back to toxic relationships or whatever the case may be, that I'm going to get strong and I'm not moving. I'm going to stay rooted in my value. I'm going to stay rooted in my worth. And when that situation comes and it goes, because that's what situations do in our life, you might be in a situation right now. It is there, it's present. It might be punching you in the face, but let me promise you this, it will go. And there will be one thing that remains, and that will be you. And you will still be standing there. That situation will come and it will go, but you will remain. And that's the power of knowing our value and knowing our worth. I don't know about you, but as I've grown through life, there have been many stages where I felt very fragile. And then I just kept standing and standing and standing. And now I look at myself and I'm like, who are you? And you are strong and you are a badass. You know, Sometimes when those challenges come, we have to reflect and we have to look at how far we have come. And then that is where we start deriving our value. Our value comes from our giftings and our character. Like the things that you're gifted at, we don't want to take them for granted, but the things that we are gifted at, we need to know like that makes us valuable. Maybe it's your patience with people. Maybe it's your fortitude to get things done. It's those sort of things that we derive value of because here's the thing. Those are the things that no one can take away from us. Someone can take your job away. Your car can break down. That pretty girl that you work so hard to get can walk away and leave you. Your money can disappear like that through whatever situation that's going on. All of those things are very fleeting. What cannot disappear is your character and how you feel about yourself and the value that you bring to the table based off of your character, based off of your giftings that you honor, you appreciate, you serve with, and you allow to grow. Is this making sense to you guys? Let me know. I want to read your comments. Blair said, if I could give myself advice from 10 years ago, it'd be don't give up on yourself. That is powerful. I completely agree with you. Same. I would agree with that. Useful and awesome says value has to be sub-communicated, not communicated directly. I agree with that. I think that when you truly value yourself, you don't have to go and yell to the world, I'm valuable. the world will see that how you carry yourself when you walk with strong posture, when your head is held high, when you are calm in the face of adversity, when you are kind to people, when someone's disrespectful and you say, I'm going to stop you right there. People see how you treat yourself. And that's not something you got to go shouting to the world. They will see it, they will recognize it. Vincente says, for things to change, we have to change. I completely agree on that. Hey, JJ, he says, wow, dime más. um, Nathan said, you remind me of the channel. It's a Southern thing. Oh, really? Is it the dressed? Oh God, I don't think I come across as Southern, but, but maybe, I don't know. Hey, Chris, I'm so glad you're here. Nathan says, maybe making all your beliefs effective. Whoa, that's powerful. I really like that. Making all your beliefs effective. That's really good, Nathan. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, JJ. Thomas says, put what you learned into practice. Absolutely. Hey, Ninja Wolf. So glad that you're here, darling. Nathan, the bless your heart comment. I know it's so funny, but you know what? In Texas, like there's three things I've been ingrained with. I still say to people, no matter where I am in the world, I'm sure when I'm in France, everyone's like, "Oh, what is she talking about? She wants to bless my heart. I don't know why she wants to bless my heart. I don't know what this means." I can't let go of that. I still say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am, and people get so annoyed with me all over the world. I had, yeah, all over the world, people get upset with me. And then the third thing is I'll never stop saying y'all, like just y'all. To me, it's a more efficient word. It just brings it all together. It says so much. I'll never let go of that. Penguin says, yes, I've been knocked down and out, lost money, cars, houses. Who cares? I am standing and the lessons made me strong. I have less, but I have more. And I think that is really powerful. It's like, you know, I'm of the mindset when it comes to money, because we associate money with value, right? Let's talk about money in the context of valuing ourselves. Money will only make you more of what you already are. If you're a fearful person, you're going to have millions in the bank. You're still going to be a fearful person. If you are a kind and generous person, money is going to give you the opportunity to be more kind and more generous to other people. If you are a greedy person, money will just make you more greedy. It will always mirror what's always going on the inside of you. It doesn't change it. It amplifies what's going on the inside. So it's really important that we are conscious of what's going on the inside. You know, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm committed to always evolving. And you know, when things show up where value isn't as high for myself, I'm like, Erica, girlfriend, we got to change that. Like, that's not okay. We're not going to stay there. Like, I get it. You're there right now. I love you, girl. I'm here for you, but we're not staying here. So be where you are, but just know that this is going to change. So when you value yourself, this is so important. When you value yourself, how people treat you, how people show up in your life begins to change. And here's a real test. Here's a real challenge when it comes to valuing yourself is maybe the first part of your life, you didn't value yourself very much. And as you grow in this, you will see that there will come people back into your life and they will be at the same place where you guys met, and maybe you've outgrown them and you've deepened your value, you've deepened your commitment to honoring your worth and growing how you feel worthy within the inside. Sometimes you will have to walk away from people that are not in alignment with your value system and how you're valuing yourself. I have had situations where, because I committed to grow, you know, when you move to a place like Bali and you really put your heart into it, you're confronted to grow, whether you want it or not. Like, you're really confronted to grow, which is why most of us sign up to go there. And I saw like some shifts inside of me. And then I saw former relationships. And I just thought, we are not on the same page anymore. How you do life and how I do life are very different. And so, and you can feel the friction of it. And that's okay. Like maybe those people one day will grow, maybe they won't. Not my journey. That's their journey. That's their responsibility and their commitment to them. But for ourselves, when we start respecting ourselves, when we start valuing ourselves, it will change how people interact with us. Most of the time when guys get on here or women say, this person, like my partner's not respecting me, people aren't calling me back, people are doing this, people are doing that. I'm like, most of the time, it's because they're just mirroring to you how you feel. And I think the most hurtful thing is it that we have to come to terms with that's how we're treating ourselves. And that's a really hard pill to swallow. It's easier to say people should treat me differently because of whatever reason. But what is inside is going to come out. And the hardest thing is to say, how am I treating myself? How am I valuing myself? And I think that that is something we can all grow in because we are conditioned. I just read a great quote, which I'm going to pull up right now because it was so good. It was shared by my somatic therapist. So, somatic therapist, she just posted this on her story. She said, listen to this. Society pushes us since childhood to be in a chronic state of fight or flight, rush to school, compete for good grades, compete in sports, achieve, perform. Our nervous system needs stillness, quiet, play, creativity. We're human, not machines. And it's like when we've been brought up to derive our value, our sense of self-worth out of performance all the time, to retrain ourselves takes a real solid commitment. It takes a lot of tenaciousness. It takes a lot of focus to say, like, I have to retrain myself to not get my value out of that any longer. I don't know about you. Like, I'm just curious. Tell me in the chat section, like, um, I don't know who said the quote, Nathan. I can look at it. That it just comes from another Instagram account called The Holistic Psychologist. I'm curious what you value about yourself. Like, what is it that makes you feel worthy on the inside? Um, this sounds very bizarre, but one thing that I have really started valuing about myself is starting to give myself more compassion. I think I just shared yesterday how compassion has the power to heal. Compassion has the power to transform. It's just like when people go to these countries that are very poor and they show up to these countries, you'll see a lot of celebrities do it. And they're like, these people don't have water, they don't have proper shoes, they don't have education. And they are what? They're moved by compassion to put their resources in and to put their influence on that, to spotlight that country. And then what does it do? It begins to transform that country because it was inspired by what? Compassion. And so recently, one thing that I'm really starting to value just about myself is being able to give myself compassion when things are not going right or they become what seem too hectic or too unmanageable. Is I am getting better at just holding myself and breathing and loving myself and reassuring myself that I am here for you. And so it's like these are the type of things that we're not conditioned to derive value from. It's like our ability to love on ourselves and to restore ourselves. Nothing can shake that. No one can take that away from you. That's one of those gifts. That's one of those value systems that you can cultivate within yourself that no one can take away from you. So I'm curious, what is it that you value about yourself? Tell me, tell me, tell me. I want to know. Anyone? You guys being shy today. How do you recognize your own value? What is it that makes you valuable? Because I could spend the next hour telling you what I find valuable about myself, but I don't think that's why you guys are here. So you tell me. Ooh, I love that, Yanis. That is beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Holding space for people. I would say that that gift and that ability is priceless. In fact, I think that now more than ever with the stuff that's being perpetuated, with in the world with pandemics and this and that, and just I don't even want to give voice to them, but the things that are just ongoing right now, it really does a number on humanity. And so now more than ever, we need compassion for one another, which is a bit hard when our nervous systems are so jacked up and we're all stressed. But that ability to hold space for people is priceless, especially in these times. So, Yanis, that is a beautiful thing. That's such a valuable thing that you have, a gift that you have. And I really honor that. Nathan says, I'm patient and kind and compassionate. Wow, that is incredible. I'm curious for both of you, Yanis and Nathan. Are each of you are you capable of giving that to yourself? So Yanis, the way that you hold space for people, I'm just curious, are you able to hold space for yourself? So like if you get upset, can you just create like a sacred space for you to cry, to grieve, to hold yourself, to chillax and just do nothing and not push yourself? Are you good at that for you? And Nathan, same for you. Let's say you make a big mistake. Do you tend to turn towards patience and kindness and compassion for yourself? I'm curious if that's something that you guys give to you. Anybody else want to say what they value about themselves? Yana says, not up until recently. I just realized how important that is. Wow. That's powerful. I'm glad that you learned it. That's really powerful. Um, Kiki says, I consider myself highly adaptable. C19, believe it or not, made me realize how adaptable I really am. That is a really powerful gift because I call it, I got this from a coach of mine, which was, she basically said, the capacity to pivot is what makes someone a great entrepreneur. It's like constantly being able to pivot and move when something's not working or when there's a challenge. It's like pivoting quickly to find a solution. So I love that you're adaptable because Kiki, that's one of those things that no one can ever take away from you. Aaron says, well, I finally tell women, look, I cannot respect you as a person if I am lying to myself. So if as a man I open up to you from a matter of the heart and do not run away from me, please, I learned the hard way by holding it in the past. So if as a man I open up to you from a matter of the heart, do not run away from me. Well, I love that you're able to verbalize yourself, and I love that you're able to speak from your heart. That's powerful. Um, Nathan says, "You deserve the love you keep trying to give to everyone else." That is really powerful. I think that's something we can all be reminded of. I think we all kind of need that mirror of like, it's really great that we give other people love, but boy, we better make sure we're giving ourselves the same, right? Shane says, I'm glad I put forth effort to improve myself. Absolutely, because that's pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and saying, I'm not going to be a victim. Like, I'm going to be the leader of my life. I'm going to be the forerunner of my life. So I am very proud of you that you are putting that effort, that you are valuing yourself enough to improve yourself. Penguin says, I gotta say, you are in tune with me. Wow, hitting the spots. Never too old to learn. It is good to have peace in your heart. I value my ability to bounce back from adversity. I agree with you. I think peace in our hearts, is something that we kind of all take for granted, that we don't realize how powerful it is. Today, I was walking to a gym in my brother and sister-in-law's neighborhood, and just, those days, and sometimes they go on for weeks, sometimes they go on months, for years, a life, where those thoughts are just percolating and they just keep spinning and spinning. And I had to just stop and say, wow, look at the trees. Wow, look at that little lake. Wow, look at those birds flying. And it's like all those moments you miss because you're so in your head. But even that is a value shift. A value shift is saying, I'm going to value myself and find myself worthy enough to not beat myself up with thoughts that just don't stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to go, what's beautiful in life right now, and begin to look around and see what is beautiful, what is great in your life in this very moment, as opposed to what else needs to change, what's out of your control, what are the things that you're afraid of. It's like, what do I have right now? That's ninja stuff right there. That's not, it's easier said than done, but it has to be done if we're going to have peace in our hearts and peace in our minds. Ninja Wolf says, I throw my past in the fire where it belongs, and I can move on with my fresh new life. I love that. Guys, I think that it's one of the most powerful gifts that we can give ourselves, being able to cultivate a value, a respect, and understanding that we're worthy. I don't think it's always the easiest thing to do, not because in and of itself it's difficult. I don't believe that. I think what makes this difficult is our conditioning, how we've been conditioned to prove our worth, to prove ourselves, to push ourselves. All of these things make valuing ourselves a bit challenging because we hold it up to that old landscape that we've been given and we go, but it doesn't look like that. And you're like, and it's a good thing it doesn't look like that, because that is a very unstable system that's built on shaky ground. So when we build it from a solid place of like, what is it in my character? What is it about my gifts? How do I love people? And how do I allow myself to be loved? And when we start deriving value from there, that becomes where you become very wealthy in life, because those are things that no one can take from you. Those are those places where you become powerful, unshakable, unstoppable. Thomas says, it's very hard to break the programming. It can be a challenge, but Thomas, this is my mindset. I'm curious if you agree that when we do start making those shifts, even when it's uncomfortable, just like when you go back to the gym after not being there for a long time, it's super uncomfortable. But the more you do it, it's like once you get that win, freedom can be very addictive. Having a new life that is more full of love, full of patience, full of understanding for yourself and for others. Once you start tasting that, it tastes so good that you look at the other side and you go, I really don't want to go back to that. And so for me, it's a driving force to continue to release old programming, because I'm like, I saw what that produced and it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. So I want to produce something different. And so it may be a bit of a challenge to change how I produce that, but it's going to feel good in the end. Penguin says, I'm going to be okay. Thank you. God opened a road to you, if you understand. That is so powerful, Penguin. I really, really thank you for taking the time to communicate that with me. It means so much to me. Guys, I just want to remind you that you are incredibly valuable. And that, when I say to you, there's not another one of you on this planet, it's because it's true. There's never going to be another one of you. There is a specialness to you that only you have. I'm laughing because our guest is just come through the door, and we can hear her snorting, Miss Abby, but I don't think she's going to come over here. There's it's so funny when she starts snorting. There's never going to be someone like you on this planet. And so why not take exceptionally good care of you in the process? It's like if you've been given this rare diamond, right? Or this rare jewel, and it's priceless. Would you just go and put it next to your McDonald's cheeseburger in your car? No. You're going to put that in a safe place in your home. You're not going to just go and give everyone access to it. You're going to hold it in high regard and high esteem. What I am imploring you to do is to do the same with yourself. Just like a diamond, sometimes you may look at it and go, oh, it needs to be polished. It's a bit dirty. It's got some rough edges. Your rough edges is what makes you unique. And polishing, yeah, we've all got hurts that we need to have removed from our hearts. but there's still a diamond underneath. Some of you may need to be polished. Maybe some of my words remove some of the fog off of you, some of the dirt off of you, but underneath is a valuable diamond. And so I implore you to start taking care of yourself as such, that you would see yourself as valuable. And then when you do that, the people who show up in your life, they're going to look at you and on a very practical level, they're going to go, I can't pull Thomas's chain like that anymore. Like Thomas has done some work on himself and he's just not going to tolerate that kind of behavior. Um, it's just not going to go down. So I can't keep showing up and treating him disrespectfully. People will start changing how they treat you. Thank you so much, RDYT. He says, manicure, pedicure tomorrow. Nice nails. Or she says, nice nails. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. People will start respecting you more. I have a client of mine and he sometimes shows up to these lives. I don't think he's here today, but I will brag on him. He's one of my emotional warriors that I'm really proud of. Proud of all my emotional warriors, but he really like went on this huge journey with me and we coached for over a year. And he was kind of the perpetual nice guy. And what that looked like was a disrespectful wife, a company that constantly took advantage of him, a boss in the company who always kind of like talked down to him, people who didn't respect him, kind of put him on the back burner. And he went on this whole emotional warrior journey with me and completely transformed his life. Like, even the women he would pursue, they were just like, I'm good. He really went on a journey of valuing himself, standing up for himself, using his voice more, not just catering to what everybody wanted, but saying, like, no, I'm not going to put up with that. Like, that's not okay. Confronting things when they needed to be confronted, having hard conversations. Like, he did all the things that showed, hey, I am a man who really values myself. And so as he did that, um, it changed everything. All It was funny to watch, like, the women who didn't want him before all started wanting him. Uh, Changed his career because the person who wasn't valuing him is no longer at the company. He got a promotion. He looks completely different. He acts completely different, and I'm just deeply proud of him. And that's what happens practically in your life when you start valuing yourself, when you start discovering that you really are worthy, that you were always worthy. Like, that was inherently given to you. But we sell ourselves short because of past experiences or societal programming. For whatever reason, we sell ourselves short. But when we start saying enough is enough, I'm going to value myself. I'm going to respect myself. I'm going to show up differently. And when the challenges come, when the friction shows up, I'm not going to resort back to my old ways. I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to remain the new me. And there are going to be some people who like it, and that's going to be excellent. And I'm going to do life with those people. And there are going to be some people who think that I'm too big for my britches and that I'm a pain in the butt. And those people can go and do life the way that they do it, and they don't have to be a part of my life anymore. But it really does start with you, of just saying, when someone deposits that seed by saying, I see value in you, I see greatness inside of you, that instead of throwing out that seed, that you go, maybe that person is right. And then as that seed's deposited, that you allow hope to spring forth in your heart, and you go, okay, this could change the outcome of my life. I'm just going to start with that maybe, and I'm going to keep my heart open. RDYT says, stop breaking your own heart by exaggerating your place in someone else's life. Saw this in a comments on YouTube and it resonated with me. That is true. That's a different topic, but it is very true. It does have to do with value. Yeah, if we're begging to be a part of someone's life, and you're having to beg them and they're not seeing that for themselves, they are essentially telling you, I don't have value for you. And those are very hard words to hear. It's a hard message to receive. But You value yourself by saying, "And I'm not staying here." It's like when we stay in relationships like that, when we stay in situations like that, it's almost like walking into a gang fight and allowing everyone to beat you up and showing up for that gang fight every day and just allowing everyone to beat you up. At a point, you got to go, I'm tired of getting beat up, and you have to not go back to that gang fight. The same thing in relationships. When you're in a toxic thing where someone's not valuing you, the way that you value yourself is quit showing up for that person, walk out of it, and you'll find a different circle. You'll find a different person who does value you, but no one's going to give that to you unless you're willing to give it to yourself. Guys, I love you so much. Someone just asked when the next live is, and I have to tell you guys the truth. I thought it was going to be tomorrow, and then I may have to take off to Los Angeles tomorrow. This is my jet setting life, you guys. It's just always on the go. So if I don't have to go to Los Angeles tomorrow, it will be at 3 o'clock tomorrow. If I do have to go to Los Angeles, well, we may have to postpone it. So I will keep you guys in the loop. Matt said, just turned up and I have a lot to learn. Always been conditioned by negative parents. People walk all over me. I'm so shy. Matt, I really encourage you to watch this video from the beginning. And also, someone like you, someone who's like, you guys who are kind of struggling, go to my website and get that free meditation, because I think just hearing my words and reminding you of your value and your worth is something that's needed by all of us. So make sure, Matt, I would encourage you, go get that connection meditation. You're so welcome, my darling. Thomas Patel says, where in the world is Arica going to next? I know. You seriously, that is the truth. Where is she going next? RDYT says, don't be afraid of losing people. Be afraid of losing yourself when you are trying not to lose someone else. Mic drop on that. Yana says, thank you so much. Sending blessings to you, Angel. Thank you. I receive them. Thank you. Guys, I love you. I hope I get to be with you tomorrow. We will see. Stay tuned. And you guys be loved. Remember that you are valuable, that you are worthy, and the buck stops with you. So start recognizing your value and believe people when they say that you're valuable. Believe them, and then allow that seed to grow, because it will expose you to even more greatness. Hey, Sean, thank you for being here, babe. Guys, I will see you soon. Sending you so much love. Remember, you have what it takes. Don't you forget it. Bye.